So I'm not sure if you guys saw this news, but should the Big 12 really be, I don't know, carrying the Pac-12 Conference on its back? I don't think so. I'm Pete Mundo, part of HeartlandCollegeSports.com. Heartland College Sports Weekly is the show. So there was a report from the Mercury News just in the past few days that talked about former Kansas State President John Wayfold, who was asked by the Big 12, specifically, he was asked by West Virginia President Gordon Gee to come up with a proposal to strengthen the Big 12. And this proposal that it came up with was called a proposal to create a strategic alliance between the Big 12 and the Pac-12. So here's what the Mercury News reported, which I think, listen, Wayfold is allowed to come up with whatever idea he wants, but this one happens to stink. And I'll tell you why. So his first idea, he says, was to figure out a strategy to convince the Arizona schools, Arizona and Arizona State, to become the 11th and 12th members of the Big 12. But he quickly dismissed that idea. But in the proposal, here's what he put forth. The proposal is all 30 Big 12 non-conference opponents should be Pac-12 teams, and 30 of the 36 Pac-12 non-conference opponents should be from the Big 12. Essentially, every non-conference game, instead of playing, whoever's on the schedule for Texas, Oklahoma, all the schools in the conference, instead, what we should do is we should have basically a Big 12, Pac-12 agreement that all our non-conferences are going to be against each other. And these games would not be just played in September. They'd be spread out 10 in September, 10 in October, 10 in November. The winners would then meet in a conference championship game. The winner of the Big 12, the winner of the Pac-12. And that game would rotate year to year from the Rose Bowl to AT&T Stadium, back to the Rose Bowl, back to AT&T Stadium. And Gordon Gee said this is a brilliant idea. Now, nothing came of it. Wayfold was not working on behalf of the Big 12. It was just, Gee as a friend reaching out to a friend and saying, hey, what do you think about this? Well, this is a terrible idea. I mean, the Pac-12 is the bottom of the barrel conference right now in the Power Five. There's no way around it. No one goes to the games. You see the Pac-12 championship game this past year at Levi's Stadium, I guess it is there, where the 49ers play. And it looked like a small high school game in, the middle of Minnesota. I mean, it was pathetically embarrassing who showed up to that game. The ratings stink. The Pac-12 network never got off the ground. That's a disaster. The whole thing's a mess. The whole thing is a complete mess. And the fan base is not that jazzed about Pac-12 football. Why is that? Well, because it's the West Coast. There's a million things to do. Nobody out there really cares about sports like they do in other parts of the country. Why would the Big 12 agree to this when teams like Texas have LSU scheduled? Oklahoma's got Nebraska scheduled. Why would you go down this road and agree to wipe out all your non-conference games to simply play Pac-12 teams? Does anybody get excited about OU taking on Oregon State or Texas playing Cal in a non-conference game? I saw Cal in the Cheez-It Bowl against TCU this past year. I've seen enough Cal for a lifetime, okay? I don't need to see any more of the Cal Golden Bears. I don't need to see it. And the Big 12 right now, if you look at the Power 5 conferences, all right, say the SEC and the Big 10 are kind of 1, 2, in whatever order you want them to be. You can make a strong argument that right now, based on its parity, based on the money that it's making, based on the money coming in from Tier 3 rights on top of just, the conference money, you can make a case that it's the Big 12 in third. I know the ACC has Clemson, which has won a couple of national titles, but outside of that, as a conference as a whole, from depth, from parity to competition at the top to monetary to revenues, you can make the argument that the Big 12 is right now third. Now, 3-4 years ago, people might have had a good case for the Big 12 being fifth. But right now, this conference is in a great spot. And there is no reason to prop up the Pac-12, which is having a horrible, horrible run for the past couple of years. And allowing them to ride your coattails to relevancy right now. I don't see any reason for the Big 12 to consider doing that. I would not even think twice about this, and I would not lose the ability to schedule who you want in the non-conference. It does not make an ounce of sense to do. So I hope that now that this report has leaked, people have talked about it. It's been part of the discussion here over the past week or so. Don't even bother. Don't even think twice about it, Big 12, please. If you want to maybe add a member or two, we can have that discussion if it's the right teams. The Arizona schools I'd consider. I'd take back Nebraska. I'd take back Colorado. I'd take back Missouri. A&M, SEC, you can have those mediocre punks, okay, that think way too highly of themselves. Keep them, have fun with them. The other three I'd take back. It's never going to happen, at least not anytime soon, but I'd take them back. But I'm not going to go diving into Cincinnati, USF, UCF. I'm not doing that. Big 12's in a great spot. And I think other conferences are realizing there's a lot of value to having 10 teams playing a round robin, having a double round robin in basketball. So give us your thoughts. Leave them in the comments here on YouTube. Pete Mundo, Heartland College Sports Weekly, part of heartlandcollegesports.com. We're your independent Big 12 digital media outlet. Appreciate you guys joining us. Check it out. We'll talk to you soon.